Whether you operate one forklift or thousands, one location or hundreds, the new My Toyota customer portal can help you optimize your operation and material handling equipment. This one-stop, free-to-use platform is designed to help you take control of your information and make smarter decisions, all at the touch of a button. Register and access your data today at my.toyotaforklift.com. That's my.toyotaforklift.com.
Fulfillment demand continues to skyrocket and outpace available labor. To keep up, warehouse operators are turning to flexible fulfillment solutions like 6 River Systems. Utilizing 6 River Systems' award-winning combination of collaborative robots, artificial intelligence, and operational expertise will make your associates and wall-to-wall fulfillment workflow more efficient. No new infrastructure, no change to warehouse layout, easy to deploy and scale, easy to train and retain associates, all at half the cost of traditional automation. Want to take your fulfillment operation to the next level? Go to www.6river.com to learn more. That's www.6river.com to learn more.
The New Warehouse Podcast, hosted by Kevin Lawton, is your source for insights and ideas from the distribution, transportation, and logistics industry. A new episode every Monday morning brings you the latest from industry experts and thought leaders. And now, here's Kevin.
Hey, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast, bringing you a new episode today. On today's episode, I am going to be speaking with Ron Dutt. He is the CEO at Flux Power, and Flux Power is a lithium-ion battery manufacturer, and they focus on the commercial side of things and big time focus on forklifts. So we're going to talk to him about lithium-ion and the power that it holds and the power that it holds for the forklift industry and material handling, and a little bit about why it may be a better option from some traditional options like lead acid, and what some of the differences are. So Ron, welcome to the show. How are you?
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Glad to be on the show.
Definitely happy to have you. Happy to talk to you about this. I know that you guys are in the lithium-ion space, and it's growing and evolving and getting more widely adapted. So why don't you tell us, I guess in your words, tell us about Flux Power and what it is you guys do.
Flux Power, design, develop, manufacture battery packs or energy storage packs, which is more the vernacular these days, okay. To store power for forklift operation, which is this huge multi-billion-dollar segment. Mm-hmm. We got launched on this journey over 8 years ago, when our founder had been involved in some predecessor companies with electric vehicles, okay, and looked at material handling at this massive market and decided, let's go pioneer and develop and provide lithium battery packs that can provide dramatically increased performance. You can move more stuff. It can be at a lower all-in cost and is dramatically more friendly to the environment.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So you touched on there too that the founder came from somewhat of an electrical vehicle background. So tell me, how do you think that the lithium-ion battery space for forklifts is kind of coinciding with the electrical vehicle market a little bit?
Yeah, there's a lot of Tesla occupies a lot of the center stage, right, of what we call the electrification, or replacing internal combustion engine in cars to electric battery-driven vehicles, and the electrification of that space, which is a massive space, and it's got the interest globally all around the world. There's attention on this, and we are not at the center of it as Tesla is, but we're very much a part of this space, and this space is getting away from fossil fuels. Mm-hmm. It's reducing the carbon footprint. We sit down with our customers and identify, using government formulas, the tons of carbon dioxide our customers can save by switching to lithium. It's more efficient. Right. It uses chemistry that is much more enhanced for this.
Interesting. Yeah. Can you give us an example of maybe a success case where you guys have implemented lithium-ion to a customer and how much carbon they've actually saved, like you mentioned in the calculations?
Yeah. No, one of our customers is a very large Fortune 50 industrial company in Illinois, and they bought. The process involves them demoing a battery or two, right. And then they bought 40 of our batteries for their forklifts. They're Class 1 sit-on forklift that a person normally thinks about a forklift. You sit on it and you lift and move a lot of stuff. Right. So they bought 40 of them, and they have, of course, an army of engineers. It's a Fortune 50 company, and spent a lot of time on this and came back and said, for these 40 packs, they were dedicated to 40 forklifts. Mm-hmm. And it was a 1 million square foot facility. Okay. And I said, in the days when they were using lead acid for these forklifts, they could only use one forklift per shift of a 3-shift operation. And it reflected the reality that lead acid can be used for one shift, then needs to be charged for up to an 8-hour shift, but then needs to be cooled down because of the chemistry, the lead acid. He said, when we used your packs, we had 1 pack for each of the forklifts instead of 3. And because it's lithium and because you have a brain on it, it's the firmware software you have, right. It can direct it so that the operator during their morning, afternoon, and lunch breaks can plug it in and charge it up. And that one battery, with only that added, can last the whole day. And so they said 2 big takeaways. One takeaway was they saved, for those 40, $5,000 a day in labor savings from not having to change out the batteries with lithium. And we said, wow, that's pretty compelling. And then they calculated all the other savings and came up to an 81% savings for those batteries over lead acid. Wow. And the battery pack could move at full tilt through all 3 shifts. It didn't start slowing down like often happens with lead acid. And so in our calculations, we run a Excel spreadsheet, and for those 40 forklifts, using, again, as I said before, using the government formula, they saved 2,000 tons of carbon dioxide because lithium was so much more efficient. Wow. Lithium in our pack can save up to almost 50% of the energy used to charge the packs from the grid. So you use 50% up to 50% less from the grid, and that savings, along with other efficiencies with that, saved 2,000 tons of carbon dioxide.
Wow, that's really impressive.
They were extremely happy, and once they found that out, they go, "Wow, we want to fully migrate to lithium."
Yeah, I imagine so. I mean, first, on the first end, talking about the cost savings is pretty remarkable, but then that energy savings as well, and the carbon footprint reduction is a huge thing. And I'm sure for a Fortune 50 company, they'd be happy to brag about that to their customers as well. So really good thing there.
Well, you know that it's not only bragging to their customers; it's within the company. We are targeting these large fleet, these large companies, and we're finding that nearly all of them have initiatives within the company directed toward clean tech, reduced carbon footprint, better environment. So this resonates. This is kind of that element is kind of the icing on the cake in companies making decisions of what power source to use. There are no EPA monthly reporting requirements for lead acid emissions, and they certainly, as we move toward carbon credits in our national dialogue, this really helps provide a great enabler toward carbon credits.
Definitely, absolutely. So I'm curious, do you see, I think that lithium-ion has not necessarily been so sought after quite yet. And I think as we were speaking about, electrical vehicle market, maybe there's a bit of a parallel there, because there was a lot of skepticism about electric cars to begin with, right? When Tesla first kind of started out and things of that nature, and a lot of skepticism. And now, you see Teslas all over the place along with other electrical vehicles. So why do you think lithium-ion has been, I guess, difficult to find that acceptance with a wider market?
We'll be back after a quick break.
You hear a lot about supply chains these days, because if the past couple years have taught us anything, it's that an efficient, well-managed supply chain is absolutely critical to keeping businesses successful and consumers happy. I'm Will Haywood, and I host a podcast called All Business, No Boundaries, where we talk about supply chains, how they work, what happens when they don't, and the innovations that are redefining what's possible in the world of logistics. Join me for insightful interviews with thought leaders and industry experts. We discuss how optimizing supply chains can break down the barriers that are holding businesses back. That's All Business, No Boundaries by DHL Supply Chain. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
It's really such early days. In 2014, we were the first one to introduce any kind of pack that was lithium-based in material handling. And at that time, we were just an early stage startup. I mean, when I came in, I had 9 people, and we were actually public reporting. So you can imagine how thin we were. We were pioneering, developing the product. We would find, in those early days, we'd find a distributor who had the mindset of an earlier adopter, and let's go after the gee whiz product. And we had high failure rates. We had beta units out there. The environment is such, there's a wide operating spectrum of people using forklifts out there. Very harsh conditions in terms of durability, and we had to design our packs so that the electronics wouldn't shake loose. You could drop them off a truck and they'd still work, and they would operate when forced into extreme heat or cold. So we had a lot of development, testing, field testing, trials, trying to address a product that could be put in any kind of environment. And these forklifts, the operators of the forklifts really, and many of them didn't have the same mentality that the owner of a Tesla car has. They don't treat it like a baby. And so that meant we had to be smarter. It took us a number of years to develop that. So as the market was looking at us, and there's a handful of other providers similar to us providing this product. Yes, your word skepticism is spot on. And it was really twofold. One, is the product really going to work for us? Is it going to save the money you talk about? Is it really going to be able to move more product? Is it going to be able to work? These large fleets have a great distaste for downtime of their packs. Are these going to operate all the time? Are they going to sit there and, if they're not charged, they're not going to move? Is something going to be wrong with them? So we found, we were new to I'd spent my time in other industries, automotive and electronics, and some other industries. We were new to this, and we found that, like a lot of industries, people put out new products and a lot of times get pretty colorful in what it can do, and it turns out it can't do. So there was a natural skepticism in this industry as well. The second kind of key element of skepticism pivoted around the suppliers. We and actually some of our other suppliers were very small startups, handful of people putting this out. We turn to Fortune 50, 100 companies, and they look at us and they go, God, we kind of like if your product can do what you say it's going to be, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
But are you going to be like my roofing company that put my roof on, but is not around 10 years from now? And so there's great skepticism there. We had one Fortune 50 company that, God, they loved it. They loved the product. They actually loved us. But, the people at their headquarters and different levels of management would say, are you crazy? You would entrust the migration of all of our assets, that being our battery packs, to a company like this that's this small. I grew up in my early days at Ford Motor Company and spent a little time in the purchasing area.
Yeah.
And believe me, you wouldn't source anything critical to a company that was really a startup, very early stage company. So I think there was natural resistance or skepticism on those two major counts. I get it. At the time, we thought our timing was pretty good. Fortunately, we were wrong. It gave us a little more time to adequately develop our product, develop our company, achieve things like UL certification of our packs, which was the highest level, which gave those very large companies, great satisfaction. They said, you have UL certification. Some of the other guys didn't decide to invest in that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, our purchasing guy at our company has to buy UL. He said if it's available, so that excluded everybody else. We took the efforts to get ISO certification, which is a third-party standard on your processes in your company that you actually adhere to them, document them to achieve the kind of qualities and control level that particularly a large company is they're just going to demand. And you want to supply to us, you have to have that. And so we went after that. All that takes time. We decided to invest that time as opposed to just putting sales in a box and chasing some quick transactional revenue.
Right. We
chose a different path, a longer term path, to develop the quality of product, the infrastructure we needed, and the customer relationships. So when we had pack failures, we made very sure that we responded to the customer and made them happy.
Yeah.
And some of our investors and some people on our board were greatly pained by that. I was pained by that, but it was all part of a longer term strategy that I think provides for sustainability. And we at Flux are after sustainability of our company, and also the fact that we have a product that's supportive of ESG and a sustainable environment. So it kind of dovetails nicely in doing that. And we are now at the point where kind of akin to the finance world, where no one wants to be the first investor in a company, and they want to see some credible investor come along, and then they go, well, if they're smart enough to do that, I'll go along with it. Same thing goes with a new product, and of course with lithium and these large fleets. It's not only will a pack work, but it's the whole string of things that have to happen. Ordering packs, interfacing, service. There's nothing that doesn't require some level of service. Ability to deliver on time. Ability to be around. Ability to develop variations on your product to fit other forklifts that we might have. So it's a much more comprehensive value package or value proposition. And, it's there's a lot of hurdles here if you want to get this, be a supplier of choice of these large fleets. And that's the track we're on.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you guys are really doing things the right way, which is a good thing. Definitely. I love to see companies doing that. I'm curious, it sounds like you guys were pretty early on as you started the company in this lithium-ion game, I guess. And, I'm curious at what point, because you mentioned the skepticism and, customers being a little kind of like, well, we're not so sure. At what point, I guess, during the journey was that really moment where you guys said, okay, like we do have something here, and not that you ever doubted yourself, but what was that moment where you're kind of like, okay, yeah, like there is going to be a lithium-ion market, and this is gonna work for the long haul?
Well, where you were November 10th, 2017?
Do I know where I was?
That's what it was for us.
Okay.
We had our first large customer give us our first large order, which was code for they're going to buy from us, and it's just not one order, one buy. Look, we tested you guys. We like you guys. Here's our first order of many. They're currently our largest customer. And it was validation of everything we worked on. You can build something and make something that you love to high heaven, but if nobody's going to buy it, and for us, buying it meant one of these large fleets, in this case it was a Fortune 50 company, seriously, taking us seriously, having vetted us and buying for this, and them setting the course, the charter for their future to buy lithium packs from us. So that was a watershed. And that's when we knew that we had achieved adequate quality, adequate customer interface, adequate customer satisfaction, and from there it was all an upward up and better trajectory.
Right. Interesting. November 10th, 2017. That was the day. Good to know. So I'm curious, we kind of talked about, the start and all those things and adoption of lithium-ion batteries and, kind of skepticism, and address that. So now I'm curious on your thoughts, and I guess maybe Flux's vision of, how does lithium-ion continue to evolve now? And you mentioned I think we're in early stages still. So how does lithium-ion evolve now over time and into the future?
Yeah, I think we certainly have forces all around us on reducing carbon footprint, alternative fuels, especially where the proposition's compelling, and we think it's compelling here. Some investors have asked me over the years, "Are you getting government subsidies, government credits?" I said, "No, this is economically viable." On its own, they go, and maybe I'll consider investing in you then, because the government giveth and the government taketh away those things. So, but we are in an environment where the handwriting is on the wall, and it's more than on the wall, for cleaner environment, reduced carbon footprint. With climate change, garbage piling up the Pacific Ocean, all the earmarks are there. So public sentiment is extremely important with these tectonic shifts, and we've got something that doesn't need government subsidies as well. So we don't need that support. So I think this is a great stage to be in. And by the way, we're agnostic on whatever cells, the type of chemistry in our cells. It just so happens that lithium, being number 3 on the periodic table. If you all remember from your high school chemistry, which I'm sure everybody remembers every single thing from that, but it's the ideal element for this electrification and the efficiency of that. But we are agnostic. There's research institutions, public and private, all over the world, chasing millions and millions of dollars trying to get the next bed increment of battery cell or the type chemistry. There's solid state, there's lithium sulfur, there's a number of them. We're thrilled that there are so many global resources and smart people directed at this. Our CTO continually tests new chemistries, new suppliers, and we will use whatever fits our criteria the best. But I think that's exciting because that is going to drive down the cost, and it already has. Our packs have gone from like $1,200 per kilowatt hour a few years ago down to under $500.
Wow.
That's with our whole pack, all the stuff we have to have for support material handling. And, we're moving down where Tesla is with their massive volumes at $125 per kilowatt hour or whatever the latest number is for them now. As the whole world has this incentive to reach those kind of efficiencies. So I think that's going to happen. I think as people as there develops more history, stories, case studies, examples, the communication gets out on this story, that's going to help the evolution. We at Flux Power, we went uplisted to NASDAQ in August, and certainly with some capital raises and access to shelf those registrations we have, we're certainly positioned to grow and expand, our marketing, our presence, our messaging with this product we have. So we're excited about that future.
Great. Yeah. I think that talking to you and just understanding lithium-ion from my other conversations with people in the industry and being in the industry myself, I think it has a lot of potential to grow, and I think it's a more sustainable way to go, and also a little bit safer too in some aspects as well, because there's less handling with the battery. So really, really great talking to you and getting your insights and learning about Flux, but also kind of the journey that you guys have been on to get here in November 10th, 2017. I won't forget it now. Now it's meaningful to me too. See, so yeah, it's really great to hear about that, and also hear about, I guess, what the future for lithium-ion can potentially be as well. So I want to thank you for coming on the show. How can people find out more information about Flux Power?
We have a website, and it's just, if you Google Flux Power, you'll get to it right away, top away. We've got a whole website of information, ability to get a hold of it, any of us here, and be more than happy to connect with anybody. So that's the first place I would start, easiest place to start.
Okay, great. And I'll put the link for that up on thenewwarehouse.com as well. So Ron, thank you again so much for your time today.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Glad to be with you and tell our story. And I feel our story's just beginning. So thanks again.
You've been listening to the New Warehouse Podcast with Kevin Lawton. Subscribe and check us out online at thenewwarehouse.com.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want more content from the New Warehouse, check out our new video series called All Hands on LinkedIn. Just search for the New Warehouse on LinkedIn and follow along.